Hi everyone, welcome to School of Scarlett. I hope y'all are doing well. Today I kind of just want to have a little chit chat with you. I was going to film outside where I usually film by the pond, but it started to rain, so I went ahead and came inside for a moment to film this for you. So I just kind of wanted to share the end of spiritual awakening and what that means to me. So I originally started this channel, if we want to kind of back up to just kind of share with y'all. I started this channel when I had a non-dual realization. So it was something that was really strange for me. I experienced a twin flame journey actually, and that turned into basically a non-dual realization where I saw everything as an illusion. I saw the reality and truth of what everything was, and it was quite shocking. But at the same time, there was no fear. It was just all love. Everything became kind of neutral. Everything was very clear to me, and so there was a total clarity there. But it was also kind of different. I didn't know what was going on. I have a background in psychology, so at the time I kind of like Googled the different things that I had experienced, and I was trying to see if there was something wrong, or what this was that was happening to me. And I came upon this word called non-duality. And so then I started searching on YouTube, and I found some non-duality speakers and things like that. And I definitely resonated with what they were saying. But most of these non-duality speakers had like groups where people would join in and ask questions. And I noticed that a lot of the people that were asking questions were very misguided. And they were asking questions like, do you eat every day? Or how do you make decisions? Like it was something out of this world, like, people that had these realizations had become like aliens or something. And I definitely didn't see it that way. And I don't think the speaker saw it that way, but it's very hard to put into words. So I wanted to kind of share a different aspect of that, the aspect of everything. So I really did have a realization where I was actually naturally experiencing more of the bliss, more of the fullness of life, where some of these speakers, I think, were experiencing a little bit more of the illusion or even almost like a nihilistic state. So it wasn't that way for me, but I still had the full understanding of what had happened and what I had seen. So I wanted to kind of share that in these videos. And so I began to make these videos in a way that I wasn't using a certain kind of jargon. I wasn't trying to fit into a certain kind of mold. I was really trying to bring the humanness of this experience to y'all on YouTube. And so I started doing that, and as I started sharing this journey, things started happening and changing, right? In our lives, it seems like just life is ever changing. It really isn't permanent, and that's why each moment is born new. So as I began to share, different things began to unfold, and I began to talk about different things and experience different things. And now that I look back, I can really see that a lot of the things I had experienced were things that I had already been experiencing the majority of my life. I had just been suppressing. So what ends up happening, what I perceive happens at the end of a spiritual awakening, is that it doesn't just end there. It's still like a deepening, but everything that you hadn't been dealing with is going to come to the surface, to the top for you to deal with. So you see life as it is. You can't be really fooled by life. If you've had one of these experiences, if you talk to someone and they're being deceptive or manipulative or lying or all in their ego, you can see totally through all of that stuff. You can see through anything really. And your perception of life has certainly changed forever. So that I will say. So your spiritual awakening is a totally awakened awareness that maybe wasn't there in that way before. So that stays. But the end of spiritual awakening, what I perceive it to be, is that bliss state kind of mellows out, and you begin to relax into it. And as you do, these things begin to bubble up, those things that maybe you hadn't dealt with about yourself, because now you're totally safe and you're totally secure in this life to be able to deal with those things, where before we were suppressing and we were hiding things because we had to put on a shadow, we had to put on a mask, we had to please others and fit some sort of mold to be here on this earth. But after you have this awakening and you really see that everything is truly an illusion and everything here is perfect as it is, you cannot go wrong. You're free to just be whatever it is that you feel in your heart is okay for you, or you want to express. And so there's a total freedom in that, and in that we are all experiencing a different aspect of life. So we may have had a spiritual awakening, But for each person at the end of that spiritual awakening, after we just kind of go through that bliss state, we will experience things that, have to do with our character, have to do with our particular part of life, because, what one person experienced in one part of the country, or in, maybe some person had some different kind of trauma, or, this person experienced war, or, there's so many experiences of life that can happen. They will be expressed in that individual, and that's just infinity expressing itself, and that's totally natural. So it just begins to deepen and unfold in a different way. So if you can go back on my videos, I haven't taken anything down, and I did that purposely because I wanted to kind of leave like a diary or a journal of my experience from the time I had that awakening up until who knows when. I'm still making videos, right? So it will kind of show you what it was back then and how it kind of unfolded, and how so many different things came on board. And my intuition deepened, and the understanding of energies and what was happening here, the understanding of spirit guides, the understanding of angels, the understanding of demons, understanding of all these things just began to happen naturally. And it was just a total understanding over time that unfolds. And so you kind of get hit with, on your spiritual awakening, some bliss, some, wonderment about life. But as that ends, other things unfold. The truth is what I like to call it. So at the end of spiritual awakening, it's just life and truth happening, because there's nothing to hide, nothing to be scared of. So everything will be shown to you, and there's nothing that will be not shown to you. So, the truth shall, come through. There's nothing that will be hidden. And so all of these things will come through really to show you that they're all just parts of you. They're not anything separate from you. And the first understanding when I had that non-dual realization is that there is nothing separate from you. Everything is literally nothing and everything at once. So this understanding deepens and deepens over time. Where those aspects that maybe you're still kind of clinging on to for whatever reason, because maybe of your experiences of life, they'll come up to show you, hey, it's nothing to be scared of. I'm part of you. Integrate me. Be with me. And so you're totally safe to be who you are. And as you begin to experience these things that come up, you might find yourself needing help, going to find therapy or journaling, or, diving deeper into certain aspects of life that you didn't used to, because those things are now ready for you to deal with them, where before you may have been scared. And I know so many people that are scared of therapy. I know so many people that are scared to, I had a woman once, I'm a counselor, that's what I went to school for, and that's what I did in my career. So I had a woman who was scared of journaling. She didn't want to ask herself about her feelings. She didn't want to go there. And so when we get safe, when we feel safe, then those things begin to become available to us to do. So that's what I'm noticing that's happening at the end of spiritual awakening, is that we are safe. We're safe to explore ourselves in all aspects, explore our desires. I went through a phase of exploring all sorts of desires, and they all kind of fell away after a while. I went through a phase of experiencing things that, some people would deem as darker, like addictions and things like that. And they cleared themselves. They were just wanting to be experienced, wanting to be looked at. And as you experience them, they come up to be cleared. So it's a process of really going deeper with yourself, seeing what's there, and then it kind of goes away because it's really not part of you. It was just something that you needed to see about yourself and that you thought was scary. So you put it away, but there's nothing to be scared of anymore. So the end of spiritual awakening is also life. It's falling into life. I also found that working with people that had non-dual realizations or spiritual awakenings of some kind, even psychological shifts, they oftentimes clung on to that spiritual awakening, and they saw themselves more of a spiritual being than a human. And while we are spiritual beings, while we aren't really what we think we are, we're not just this human being in this meat suit, we are more than that. But at this moment, it's a true gift to be in this body, to experience life, to have a life, to go out in nature and explore everything that is here. If you have a family, to explore what it is to have a family. if you have, a job, to experience what it is to have that job, to help in this way, to be part of this world, because you're not alone in this. We are all one, but we feel very separate. But as we begin to experience life as happening happening part of us, it's not like a separate thing. Everything becomes very magical. It becomes like part of who we are. And so we honor everything that happens in our experience. It's actually very special, anything that happens. And even if something unpleasant happens, we see that it really came to show us something. And it's not really that we're bypassing anything. We're definitely experiencing this. And if any of y'all have been through these spiritual awakenings or any of this, you know how deep these emotions go. So a lot of times we experience things even in a more painful way, only to transmute it back into love. And it's just something that we go through. It's like a snake shedding many skins, or a tree that sheds its bark. It's part of life, and we go through all these seasons in our life, just like the seasons in nature. It's part of life. And so we kind of die to ourselves many times in our lifetime, and that can be painful, and we have to see these aspects of ourselves. And I find myself going through so much, and it happens a lot more now since my spiritual awakening. So we think that spiritual awakening is it resolves all our problems, that's it, that we have arrived. But I'm going to tell you that after spiritual awakening, life goes on. We chop wood and carry water. It continues on. We just have a deepening of that, and we have more safety to go into those deeper, darker parts of us and see them for what they are. And through that, it's kind of a purification process. We become lighter. We become less of those things that we took on, and more of who we truly are authentically. So that's what this process is really about. And it's not that we're on a journey. It's not that we're on a ruled process, like I just said. It just is. It just is part of the human experience, just like a plant or a fruit tree grows, and it has its different seasons, and eventually it bears fruit, and then it stops bearing fruit, and then it dies. And it's just part of life. We're nature, just like everything else. But truly, the truth of everything is that we are everything and nothing. And that may be harder to explain than I can do at this moment. But if you like, you can go back and watch a lot of my older videos where I was a lot more in that state of being. So I'm happy that I've kept all those videos up there, although it can be kind of strange to look back on. It really sheds a lot of light onto what this process is, what is happening, the unfolding of life, just as if I were a tree or a plant. It has these different things that happen throughout its lifetime. And so we're just meant to experience life, to love it, to allow things to happen, to come up, without trying to force anything. And there's nothing that we have to obtain or get to. I didn't go out searching for a spiritual awakening. Actually, much the opposite. I didn't believe in any of that stuff. When all this happened to me, I was a Christian, and I was, I could say more the religious kind, like going to church and believing certain doctrines, and really believing them in a way that it wasn't that I had experienced them. It was more that I was following. And you couldn't have told me otherwise. And I was very kind of set in my ways, very black and white. And well, life shows you kind of different, so just allow life to happen. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to go take some, crazy $3,000 course on how to awaken or any of that stuff. Life will show you what you need to see when it's the right time for you. So just allow that to unfold. And if you have had a spiritual awakening, you're wondering, when does this end? Well, the bliss part kind of evens out after a while, is what I've noticed. But then life just kind of deepens and allows other things to come up to be purified. And that's just part of life. It's just ever changing. We can't, it doesn't ever stop. Every day is a new day. Every day brings something brand new. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. I am also just finishing up, and we're wrapping up our unconditional course in the School of Scarlett. So I have a School of Scarlett. You can look in my links and see how to sign up there. But right now we're finishing our unconditional course. I offer this course about 2 to 3 times a year. And it's a course that aligns you to your unconditional self. It's really a course that is aligned to more non-duality. And so that course is ending now, but I'm coming out with a new course and I'm very excited to share this one with you. I've been working on this one for about a year, and there's also a book that's accompanying it. So I'm really excited for this to be launched in the next month or two. So this is the intuitive training course, and it really helps you to really connect intuitively. Because I know you may be watching these videos and sometimes I share messages and things like that, but these messages are very specific to me. They're coming intuitively for me. But you can connect to those because we're a collective, because we are all one. But you yourself are able to be intuitive, to connect to your own intuition and get your own messages. And anything outside of ourselves, like, I don't know, like psychics, tarot readers, even intuitive readers, anyone that claims to be able to give you some information about something to come, prophets, that sort of thing. They are intuitive. They do have that ability. We can certainly see that. But we don't have to rely on them to give us any kind of messages. So I always want to point all my students and everybody back to their own self, because you have everything within you. You have spirit within you. You have that greatness within you. You have the ability to do any kind of spiritual gifts yourself. And so in this course, I help you to align to your intuition and how to access that deeper and deeper and deeper. So if you're interested in that, I am starting a wait list right now. You can go ahead and just email me at schoolofscarlett@gmail.com, and I can get you on that wait list, because it is a smaller container. I'm doing about 7 people per container, and we meet weekly. And there's also coursework and, like I say, a book. So it is a smaller container. So if you're interested in that, if that's speaking to you right now, if your heart is aligning to that, you're going to want to email me right now so that you get in on the first wave of that course. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this message. I love you, and I will catch you on the next one.